and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, freaks, geeks, anybody bored enough to actually be watching this, welcome to another episode of the Blerd Assassin Podcast. I'm your host, Rob Days, Eddie Blake, Gatsu, depending on, what page you have access to on my social media. Here today, doing a solo round. So we're going to see how this one works out. Shout out to the homie Wayniac. Couldn't make it. For those of you who do not know, Wayne, or Stelios, is actually an electrician, certified journeyman, I believe. He goes out of town and works in different places, so give him a shout out. If you do see him on social media, he's out there working hard. He's a hard-working American and, providing for his family and, bettering their future. Right now, I think he's in Illinois, but I'm not really sure. Besides Chicago, what cities in Illinois are you familiar with? I'll give you $500 if you can name 5 cities. I don't think anybody can. I can get Peoria because that's where Wayne's World came from, and there's Springfield because almost every state that's worth mentioning has a Springfield. But outside of that, maybe there's Matson. I know about Matson because my granddad moved out of the city after he retired and moved out to Matson. I guess we could count Olympia Fields, but that's about it. You really can't name not too many cities in Illinois. Most people Chicago. Besides people maybe in Indiana and Gary and Indianapolis, or but yeah, nobody's going to really name that many cities in Illinois. Maybe that's what we should base electoral votes on. Does it really qualify as a state if you can't name more than 5 cities? That eliminates Illinois, the Dakotas, Missouri, Nebraska. It eliminates all those. So give them one electoral vote. That way, states that really matter, like Ohio, we're still a swing state, and maybe Kentucky, New York, things of that nature. But yeah, I think that'd definitely help with the electoral votes. We can really get a system in place of what states matter. by seeing how much you know about the states in regards to cities. So but speaking of which, electoral votes, the election just passed. We have a new president-elect who's gonna pull this country out of the mud and really put us in the position where we need to be, globally speaking. I voted. I'm not really going to share who I voted for. I didn't waste a vote, but I did vote. This was a tricky one, and mind you, I'm not willing to sweep, what Biden's done and said in the past under the rug. He still needs to be held accountable for that. That shit never goes away. But damn, man, the guy Trump, man, he really had to go. He really had to go, in my opinion. As many of you know, as I've stated before, I'm a first-generation American, and the scope that was placed on immigrants and people from different countries under the Trump administration, in a negative light, it basically was used to basically round up and provide that herd mentality to anybody who bought into those xenophobic views, which I was not a fan of. I hated watching it happen. It was pretty sad. I know I'm black first, but I'm definitely an American second. And to see the country go in that direction willingly, it was, I don't say it was surprising. It was, I guess, how many people bought into it and how many people were with it. You got all these people saying, in Trump's America, we can talk like Americans, and freedom of speech and this and that. We can be who we're supposed to be. It's no, you could be who your racist grandparents wanted you to be. You could be Hitler's little wet dream. Just promoting racist stereotypes and xenophobic views. And there was no consequence for it during Trump's run. It was seen as the best way for America to move, and you got on top of that, you got these these right-wingers and these Trumpanzees saying, the black community thrived during Trump's administration, blah, blah, blah. And how so, though? Like, the first thing they'll always bring up is prison reform. Like, this doesn't help white America, with their opioid, scandals and, tragedy that's happening right now that's been occurring for the past 10 years. How does that not help them more? That's geared to help, the white community, a little bit more than us, So I didn't buy into that. Prison reform was not just for black people, but that's what they'll bring up. They'll bring up, small businesses, were booming, and the black community thrived, and no. I started this business during the Trump administration, during the Trump era, and I didn't get any assistance from him, any help, dime one. He didn't call me and say, "Hey, Rob, great job," and which I probably would have told him to go blow himself if he did, but I didn't get that. So I don't see how that's even factored in either. This is perhaps the worst president that we've ever seen. He's made more money as a president, and his family has made more money, during his presidency than any president, in the past. So we'll see what happens, with Biden, and Kamala. I mean, I have low expectations, so I'm not surprised by anything. If something positive comes out of this, hey, great. But if not, I won't be surprised. I'm still stuck in the same place. We're still in the same place, moving towards advancement, ourselves as individuals and as a community, that we were prior. So remember, get out there and vote locally again. Like I always try to tell people that, promote that aspect. I don't know how many people listen, because, we have to control the Senate, not the Republicans, not the Democrats, people. We have to vote those people in and put them in position to make sure that they're speaking to us and for our best interest. And, until we actually do that and stop focusing so much on the presidential election, I mean, we're still going to be, that same community, disenfranchised, misrepresented, and, just without anybody to fight for us, in the Senate or, in Congress. So get out there and vote locally. That's pretty much where I stand. So again, we'll see how this Biden era treats everybody. Really, I wanted to see, first and foremost, because I detest Trump, as an individual, and his views being, basically spooged over, America so openly. I wanted to see that gone, but also I wanted to see what would happen when he won, when Biden won, because of all the threats that were basically being made by these right-wing groups and, the Proud Boys, and they're saying, all these people saying, if Biden wins, it's going to be a race war. If Biden wins, I'm taking my scope and just sniping people. If Biden wins, this and that. If Biden wins. I wanted to see what happened. I'm readily prepared. My family's prepared for, whatever may come. God willing, that doesn't happen, but I wanted to see, I want to see what happened if they, on the 20th, when the inauguration happens or what have you, and, Biden is sworn in, what happens? Because right now, Trump, there's certain things that a president, while leaving office does, to welcome the new president. There's ethical, actions that are made, and, Trump's refusing to do those. So I want to see what happens on the 20th. I want to see if these people actually, start, going out of their way to do what they say they're doing, which is basically acts of domestic terrorism. I want to see what the government does, to basically bring these people to justice. Because, these are domestic threats of terrorism that are being made. Are these people, are we not going to take that into consideration? Are we not going to take into consideration that anybody who doesn't look like these people may be in danger? Are we going to wait till it actually happens? Like, what is the government, what are local authorities willing to do? These people who have made threats, as opposed to what's going to happen, in regards to what's going to happen. So I'm pretty excited to see what happens with those people. If they're going to be outed, we mark them as domestic terrorists. I think we should, I definitely think we should. But we'll see. Probably won't, but we'll see. What else is new? COVID making a comeback. COVID the sequel, part 2, the follow-up to COVID part 1 that just dropped this year. So for the sequel to be coming back this fast, it's pretty amazing. I think that Marvel and DC should take a note out of COVID's playbook, and so they could possibly put out more content. Still waiting on that Black Widow and everything else, and and we're stuck watching Disney Plus with their old content and the overhyped HBO Max. So I think they definitely need to take a look at COVID, because COVID's coming back strong with this sequel. We've all seen the trailer, and it's happening. Currently, we're on this state has been placed on 10 o'clock curfew by the great Senator DeWine. Well, I say that sarcastically. Or Governor DeWine. I apologize, Governor DeWine. The guy. I can go on and on about that guy, but I believe he panders a lot. I detest pandering, and but here's the thing. With the governor, I guess he didn't want to mention, or what a lot of people overlooked, was we never came out of the original spike of COVID. Everybody couldn't wait to get out. We were so opposed to it. You had to wait to be told to stay inside and close your businesses and not go in businesses and wear your mask before you actually did that. You had to be told to give people 6 feet, and wash your hands, and it definitely shows the mentality of the everyday citizen in this first world country. Your grandma taught you or told you to give people space and wash your hands, and the fact that we had to be told that, and then it had to be enforced. I believe if we all would have basically just took a step back, took care of ourselves, actually quarantined without, or stayed away from, businesses and, large gatherings, without being told, we could have combated this a lot quicker, a lot sooner. But we didn't, that spike rose. It was business as usual before, it even declined truly to say we were out of the spike. And now it's coming back. So, we're going to have to wait and see what this one brings. I mean, we're a guinea pig generation in regards to this one, you guys. There's no way around it. We don't know enough about it to actually say we know about it. I'm definitely not getting that goddamn vaccine. I'd advise everybody against getting the vaccine themselves until it's tested. Who are they testing it on? I'm not going to let it be tested, not on my kids or anything. I don't know, wear your mask, you guys, take care of yourselves, up your vitamin intake. I don't understand why the government is not, getting behind that idea of, sunlight, vitamin intake, and exercise, taking care of yourself, which we all should be doing, as privileged citizens of this country. We have the ability to do all those things, and we don't, and we actually don't, and it's, I'm all for taking care of the people who are have medical issues that make them more susceptible to this virus, and old people. We have to protect our old people. But damn, man, I mean, I really think shit. If we're gonna just half-ass it, we might as well just go out there and suck face with everybody, each other out there in public. Which is basically what you're doing when you're inhaling somebody's breath from less than 6 feet away. And just get it over with. Thin the herd. See who really lasts, or at the very least, strengthen our immune systems. As the universe, our bodies, and or God or whoever, saw fit to for us to do. Because there's not going to be any way around this, man. You can't hide from it. I actually had a COVID scare last week. Last week I had one personally, and I was already sick. A week before, I was like, I'm a little sick. I don't think it's any symptoms. I got away from that. Went to go visit my lady friend, and 2 days later, I find out, her daughter had COVID, and she was in contact with her. So I was in contact with somebody who was in contact with COVID. But everybody, shit hit the fan. I had to go get tested. And rightfully so. I did have my daughter that weekend. So that was my main concern. Would she catch it? Even though she's a little outbreak monkey herself, so if she hasn't caught it by now, I don't think she's going to catch it. But, who am I to say? So, but I did take the necessary precautions, went and got tested. Yeah, and my results came back, negative a couple of days later. I have to say, that test, for everybody bitching, pissing, moaning, and complaining about it, it wasn't as bad as you all make it out to be. Like, it's like that. It doesn't go all the way into your brain. Blah blah blah. It's people. It's quick. It's uncomfortable. Yeah, but when it was done, I had to ask, "Is that it?" He's like, "Yeah." Like, I made it out. Or you all have made it out more to be than it really is for a lot of people who haven't taken it, and it's not that damn bad, man. It's uncomfortable for like the first 2 seconds, maybe a minute when you go out and got to do that type of shit, but it was over. Honestly, if you ever take an STD test, it's not even half as bad as that test. With the Q-tip. A lot of you say, "I never took that. I never did." Well, shame on you for being an adult and not getting your dick swabbed or your vagina swabbed. You should definitely go get tested. It's not a badge of honor to say that you don't get that joke. You're disgusting. Go get tested. But yeah, like, I don't know, with the COVID, if you take it seriously, but take care of yourself, because we're fighting a battle that we don't know the end result of. There's a lot of uncertainty, on whether or not what we're being told is accurate, on top of what we're being told if it's, directing us or deviating us into, another path of control. We don't know. So up your vitamin intake, exercise, get sunlight when you can, and take care of your old people. And stop throwing your goddamn mask and gloves on the ground, man. Like, I don't get this. Like, I go to stores, place of business, my parking lot, I see masks on the ground. Like, how are you protecting yourself from a virus? And then littering, throwing away that piece of protection on the ground, just discarding it. Like, it's pretty disgusting. Stop throwing your goddamn mask and gloves on the ground. When you get done with them, throw them away. Throw them away. You disgusting human. It makes no sense. Like, so please take care of the planet and your environment while you're taking care of yourself. I think it's pretty lowbrow for somebody to see fit to wear a mask, take care of themselves, and then say, screw the environment. That's just the sign of uncultured swine. So be better. Be better. Mother Gaia didn't put us here. The universe didn't put us here for us to fucking just shit on the planet. So take better care of that. Let me see. Oh yeah, the virtual draft. Did anybody watch that? Did anybody else? I didn't watch it. I don't even watch drafts. But it was a big, big deal this week. Well, one of them. I didn't watch it. I'm busy playing The Last of Us Part 2, which is perhaps the greatest game ever. So yeah, I stay occupied. That's my source of entertainment. So I didn't really go watch the draft. When people mention it, I imagine it being like a Zoom call full of like people that you don't even recognize, and maybe the fans or everybody just all sprinkled there watching little videos on the Zoom draft. Yeah, a couple people that I reached out to, they were basically watching it. I didn't tune in. I don't care that much. And with the NBA, I mean, we just finished the season. It seems so strange that we're having the draft and the new season's about to begin pretty soon here. This is the weird world we're waking up in every day, y'all. But yeah, so I don't know who got drafted. Honestly, again, I quit watching the NBA when Kobe retired. So with him dying, at the beginning of this year, I really wasn't interested. I did watch some of the Lake Show this year. I did, that is my favorite team. So I did watch, the last 2 games. Pretty interesting, pretty solid basketball, which I guess the playoffs and the finals will always be. That's when they play hard and actually play some form of, basketball that we've all, grown to love, and not that running gun shit that they're usually playing. But yeah, I don't know who got drafted. Let me see. The Ball kid. I know that he got drafted by the Hornets, which is interesting. So Michael's seen that play, but honestly, he may be the most talented one. The little one. They all got that horse face. I don't know which one he is, but the little light skinned one. They're all little light skinned. The smallest one, but yeah, I think he might have the most potential. But we'll see. I mean, let his dad tell it. They're the greatest players, to ever walk the earth. So we'll see. We'll see. But that's the extent of, what I know about the actual draft. Also, there was the Gucci versus Jeezy versus. For those who don't know, the versus is basically a competition where either like two groups of people or one singer or one rapper. They basically, it's a battle of the band type thing. They play their greatest hits. I've only watched one. Well, I watched two. I watched some of the Erykah Badu and Jill Scott one, which was entertaining. Who can't get enough of those two ladies? I also watched some of the Teddy Riley and Babyface one, which was sad. Like I didn't like. I mean, I appreciate Teddy Riley as an artist. We all know if Teddy Riley could sing, he probably would have went farther, but he couldn't, and it was like basically him just trying to rev that engine up to reignite his star power, and it just wasn't happening. So I'm not really tuned into one. I watched some of the highlights of this Gucci and Jeezy one. I'm not the biggest fan of either of their music. I kind of side with Gucci a little more. I never really liked Jeezy. He's okay with the patty cake microwave shit. I mean, like, ever since then, so I'm not really a fan of him, or what he's done in the past to Gucci. And in all actuality, in my opinion, if you don't see that Jeezy is the bad guy in that whole beef, like you need to recheck. I mean, he's clearly the hater. He's clearly the guy who put the hit out on the guy for his. They say for his chain, 20 stacks for Gucci Mane's chain, and that's what led to, his alleged friend. In a group of other people getting shot at, in which the alleged friend was murdered, shot, in self-defense by Gucci. So I mean, it's like, who's to say Gucci doesn't have PTSD behind that? So that could have been caused by Jeezy's actions as well. And I guess for the culture of hip hop, it was good to see those two squash their beef. I was entertained by Gucci by what he was saying. He was definitely talking this Cash Money shit. But like I said, I'm not really a big fan of either one. I do side to Gucci with the features and the Very Freaky Girl song, and especially nowadays Gucci got bars. I say that lightly, but yeah, I was not pulling for either one, but I hope that hip hop was entertained by it, for the most part. Again, I didn't tune in. I was busy playing The Last of Us 2, which is the greatest game. I suggest everybody go out there and check it out. I am fully involved in this game, and I don't know. Maybe I'll beat it over this weekend. We'll see. But yeah, thanks for tuning in. If you have watched this, hopefully my guys come in next time. If not, it'll be another solo round. But yeah, y'all stay safe out there.
Like I'm a roller skate with dudes who work Section 8s, while y'all let me just work the block off a minimum wage. But if you was smart, you knock off your boss and get you a raise. So fire away, here come the heavyweights with the Mo-Dog stats batch, but I ain't Lorenz Tate. In fact, I'm a wolf that run with the pack up in the middle of the